Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom.
It's our Discovery unit, which is a 2-day unit, as you know. We're talking about a show called American Chopper 2018 Season 2. So, obviously, the show was on in previous years, but they've brought it back, or as we like to say, they rebooted this popular show. And it's about two Pauls. One's a dad, one's his son. They don't really get along very well, but in this particular season, after separating after season 1 and Paul Jr. starting his own business, they've come back together and they're trying to work together, although they still have their separate companies, but they have projects that they're working together on. So when we left you, we were talking about how Paul Sr. is working on something for a guy named Joe DeSena. He owns a company called Spartan Race and needs some motorcycles. And he gave them a vague idea of what he wanted. Vague just means kind of fuzzy, not very clear. He didn't give them details, but they're having to go ahead and make the motorcycle because time is short. So we also know that Paul Jr. and his team are tackling an extreme trike design, tricycle. Trike is short for tricycle, remember? For Carolina Carports, Inc. A carport is an area in American homes in particular where you have a little space to the side of your house where you park your car. And carports usually don't have what do you call that? A gate? No, not a gate.
A door?
A door, or something that comes down. Carports are usually open. We have a carport. Actually, we do have a door on it now because people steal things. So their plan for the trike is hard because they want to make these really huge wheels and they're hard to manufacture. That's where we left off.
That's where we left off. So we're going to see what happens in today's program. So let's get to it, everybody. Let's listen to the entire contents of our lesson right now.
Unfortunately, moving ahead with Joe's bike without his approval hasn't paid off for Paul Sr. Upon looking over the designs, Joe ends up wanting to make several changes to the bike's overall structure. Paul Sr.'s team is used to making bikes with long forks so that drivers must lean back as they ride. However, Joe's idea is that since Spartan Race participants lean into the obstacles, they shouldn't lean back in their seats. Though meeting Joe's requirements will put his team behind schedule, Paul Sr. knows he has to give the customer what he wants. With 2 weeks to get the bike ready for unveiling, though, his team has some stressful days ahead. Meanwhile, Paul Jr.'s team is hard at work with the extreme trike. The designers have come up with some fun ways to incorporate the Carolina Carport's cardinal logo into the trike. They've given each of the trike's rear fenders a cutout of the cardinal's profile and had their artist paint a gorgeous cardinal-themed mural on the gas tank. The trike is nearly complete and looks incredible. But the team still has one massive problem. The back tires haven't arrived, and the bike is meant to be unveiled in a couple of days. Despite all the pressure they're facing in their respective shops, the Pauls find time to work on the New York Yankees bike. They manage to get the bike's handlebars on without fighting, but with the gas tank yet to arrive, they come to a standstill. That's probably in their best interest, though, as they both have pressing deadlines to meet. Will they make it? Find out by tuning in to Discovery Channel's American Chopper 2018 Season 2 this June.
Okay, everybody, let's talk about the contents of today's lesson. Now, remember where we left off. Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. were supposed to be working on a New York Yankees motorcycle, but they had other jobs on the side that they had deadlines for. So they were under pressure. And of course, Paul Sr. is working on a motorcycle for Spartan Race, but he's He has a deadline there, and Paul DeSena was unavailable to come over to give the green light. So Paul Sr. decided to go ahead with the project anyway. So unfortunately, moving ahead with Joe's bike, Joe DeSena's motorcycle, without his approval, hasn't paid off. Okay, so remember, Joe DeSena is the guy who wants the motorcycle for Spartan Race, Spartan Racing there. And, of course, he was not available to give them more specifics about the design. So Paul Sr. said, well, we have a deadline here, and I don't have a lot of information, so I'm just going to go ahead anyway, take a chance, take a gamble here. And unfortunately, though, his approval to go ahead with this project, to give it the green light, that has not paid off for Paul Sr. Now, if something pays off, it's beneficial. It's worth the effort. You actually get more out of it than you put into it. So it paid off. If you invested in a certain stock on the stock market, for example, and you made money, well, that paid off. It was successful for you, but here it hasn't paid off. He made the wrong decision.
Yeah, you could also say, working extra hard this year has really paid off because I got a promotion. So, yeah, sometimes things that you do that are hard are worth it, and sometimes they just don't pay off. So, yeah, it didn't pay off for them. It was a gamble for him to go ahead without Joe giving the final approval on the designs, but sometimes you have to risk things. He was worried about the time. So upon looking over the designs, or as he looked over the designs, Joe ends up wanting to make several changes to the bike's overall structure. So even though Joe, he's the customer, had given them an outline, pretty general idea of what he wanted, now he's back and he wants to make some changes to the bike's overall structure, which is kind of a big deal. They're not little changes if you're changing the overall structure. So Paul Sr.'s team, they're used to making bikes with long forks so that drivers must lean back as they ride. We kind of talked about this in day one. If you've ever seen, for example, a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, they have to lean back in the seat, and they have those long handlebars, and it looks uncomfortable. Now, I'm not familiar with this terminology. I'm not really into motorcycles, I'll be honest. So, have you heard this term, a long fork?
Sure. Forks are common structures on two-wheeled vehicles. Bicycles have them on the front there. They're basically the two pieces of metal that come down.
Wheel?
Yeah, basically, yeah. They hold the front axle, they hold the wheel there.
Oh.
So you've got the forks sticking out there. On a chopper, of course, they stick way out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's mostly for show. I don't think that actually helps handling the motorcycle at all.
It's a style choice.
I think I've read somewhere that that's actually pretty dangerous, but
Oh.
these guys want to have those forks sticking way out there. They think it looks pretty cool. So in any case, that was a little bit of a problem here because Paul Sr. decided to design this motorcycle with long forks. But Paul Sr., Joe DeSena looked at the design and said, that's not exactly what I want. Those forks are too long because we need to have motorcycles that go through this obstacle course. That means you have to lean forward to go through those obstacles. And with long forks like that, it's just not going to work. You're going to have to start over. Back to the drawing board for you. You're going to have to start over from scratch.
So if you lean a direction, it kind of just means you're moving your body in a particular direction. You can lean in, lean back. It's kind of funny the way our author wrote this story, though, or this unit, because the CEO of Facebook, her name is Cheryl. I can't remember her last name. That was her big slogan. We all need to lean in. It's very political, like get involved. So it's kind of funny that this Spartan Race company, they're actually trying to help people. I bet a lot of them are people who are working for companies, and the company is paying for this obstacle course. Sounds very, very much like a team activity thing. They want them to lean in, not lean back. Because if you lean back, you're not really getting involved. So lean. You can lean to the left Lean to the right. That was actually a cheer when I was in high school. Lean to the left, lean to the right. Yeah, anyway.
Sounds familiar. Yep.
Yeah,
I think I remember hearing the cheerleaders say something like that at high school basketball games. But in a case here, yes, if you have a motorcycle with long forks, then you got to lean back when you ride. However, Joe's idea is that since Spartan race participants lean in to the obstacles, they lean in the direction of the obstacles, they should not lean back in their seats. It's just not going to work if they lean back. And though meeting Joe's requirements will put his team behind schedule, Paul Sr. knows he has to give the customer what he wants. Give the customer what the customer wants, what he or she wants. Okay, the customer is always right.
That's right.
So he's got to do it. That's what the customer wants. He can't say, well, but I already built it this way. You can't change. No, I'm the customer. If you don't give me what I want, I don't have to pay you a cent. So Paul Sr. has no choice here. He's got to start over. He's got to meet Joe's requirements. Requirements basically are the things that you require, the things that you request, and the things that you want, and you won't take no for an answer. You need these things, they need to be met, and you won't accept it any other way.
So Paul Sr. knows he has to give the customer what he wants. So with 2 weeks to get the bike ready for unveiling or kind of showing what that final bike looks like, they're going to unveil it. His team has some stressful days ahead. Anyone who's ever worked for a company knows that sometimes you have these really tough deadlines that your clients or customers give you. And you can't complain. You just got to get in and work hard. It's not very fun, though. So moving on to the next paragraph. Actually, why don't we go ahead and listen to our Chinese teacher at this point, and then we'll be back.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tina. 我们来看一下今天的第一句，写着 Unfortunately, moving ahead with Joe's bike without his approval hasn't paid off for Paul Sr. 在这一句里面看到的是，很不幸的是，没有经过 Joe 的批准，继续进行任务，对这个爸爸来说是行不通的。我们先来看一下 approval 这个名词，解释成为批准、认可的意思。The plan had the approval of the school authorities. 指的呢，就是这个计划已经得到学校当局的认可、批准。而这里后面的动词片语很重要，也常考试，叫做 pay off， 通常指的是一些呢冒着风险的政策跟做法带来了好结果或者是成功的意思。所以呢，但是对于这个爸爸来说，这样子的任务是行不通的。第一段后面的句子提到Though meeting Joe's requirements will put his team behind schedule, Paul Sr. knows he has to give the customer what he wants. 这句是说到，虽然呢要取得符合 Joe 的要求呢，会让他整个队伍的预定行程会拖得比较晚。Behind schedule， 不过呢，老保罗知道他必须要交给客户心目中理想的机车。我们来看一下 requirement 这个名词，解释成为要求或者是必要条件的意思。如果是什么东西的必要条件，我们要搭配的介系词是 for。举例来说 He has filled all requirements for promotion。指的呢，就是他已经具备了晋升的一切条件。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, let's continue with our lesson for today. Remember, we've got 3 motorcycles that are being worked on. Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. are working together to redo the New York Yankees motorcycle, okay? They have to work on that one together. But while they're doing that, Paul Sr. has to work on another motorcycle for Joe DeSena, whose company is Spartan Race, and he was not satisfied with the design, but Paul Sr. had to go ahead with it anyway because Joe DeSena was not available to give the go-ahead.
Yeah.
And then we've got Paul Jr., and he's working on something else for Carolina Carports. And he needs to work on something for them, which has their logo on the trike. Remember, they're having some problems with the wheels for that trike. The wheels are pretty big, and they're having difficulty manufacturing those wheels. So here in this paragraph, it says, meanwhile, while these other things are happening, Paul Jr.'s team is hard at work with the extreme trike. And that, of course, is the trike that I was just talking about, the one with the big wheels. It has 3 wheels, and they're having difficulty manufacturing those wheels. Now, the designers have come up with some fun ways to incorporate the Carolina Carports cardinal logo into the trike. Okay, now, Carolina Carports is a company, and they've got a logo which is in the shape of a bird's head, the cardinal. Think of the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team.
Or the Arizona Cardinals.
Right. They used to be in St. Louis, actually, and they moved to Arizona.
Now they're in Phoenix.
But they've got the bird design on their helmet there. It looks like a bird, basically. So Carolina Carports has this same logo. And they're going to incorporate this logo into the trike. That bird head is going to be part of the design. If you look at the motorcycle, you'll be able to see the logo in there. It will be kind of cool.
Yeah, well, they've given each of the trike's rear fenders a cutout of the Cardinals' profile and had their artist paint a gorgeous Cardinal-themed mural on the gas tank. So here we've got rear, which means in the back. Okay, the rear wheels, the front wheels. I guess you could say the back wheels, but you'll hear us say rear wheels more. And the rear fenders. What's a fender? It's that sheet of metal that covers the tires on cars and bicycles. Typically, fenders are supposed to reduce the splashing that you can go through. And if you splash through mud or water, it's kind of a mess, especially if you're on a bike. You'll get all wet. But we have fenders on our cars. If you take a quick look, you'll see what I'm talking about. That sheet of metal that just covers them. So they're going to actually have a cutout. So they're making a Cardinals profile, what it looks like. It's in the shape of a bird. We said it's the cardinal. And a cutout just means the shape that is then put on the motorcycle itself. They're going to put it on the trike's rear fenders. Oh, that makes sense. I've seen that before. And then they're also going to have an artist paint a gorgeous or beautiful cardinal-themed mural on the gas tank. If it's cardinal-themed, it just means it's going to have lots of cardinals in it. That'll be fun to see. A mural is something that people paint, and it's usually something that's done outside, usually on a wall. Those are murals. We've got a lot of graffiti now. I'm sure everyone's noticed that. I have a lot in my neighborhood. I wouldn't consider those murals, but maybe some people would. Maybe if it's pretty graffiti or cool graffiti. But it's anything that's painted or some work of art that's directly done on something and typically outside.
Yeah, I would say the Taipei city government has done a pretty good job with murals on the walls next to the river there. If you ever go down to the bike paths there, they have some really nice murals on the walls there depicting, scenes from life in Taipei and stuff like that. So they're doing this with the gas tank on the motorcycle.
Here can I add something here?
Yes, please.
So I just wanted to say a profile would be an outline of something, especially from the side. So it just kind of gives you the side view of a person's face or an animal as seen from the side. That's what profile here means.
You'll see the profile of Sun Yat-sen on the 1 NT dollar coin. He's in profile there, the side of his face.
See his profile.
In profile, right. So they're going to have the cardinal there on the fenders there somewhere. And the trike is nearly complete and looks incredible, but the team still has one massive problem. The back tires haven't arrived, and the bike is meant to be unveiled in a couple of days. So remember, they've had some problems with those wheels, with the tires, specifically the black part there, the tires. And, well, the back tires have not arrived. They're not done yet, so my goodness, they're probably very nervous. Gee, we've got to have this bicycle or this motorcycle done, this tricycle, this trike done in a couple of days, but the rear tires have not arrived. Not only have they not arrived, but we don't know if they're going to be okay. We don't know if they're going to fit okay, and we might have to have them reordered. So they're biting their fingernails here. They're very nervous here because they need to unveil that trike in a couple of days. To unveil here means to pull the veil away so that you can see what's underneath. So usually it's something that they've been working on but nobody else has seen. And when they unveil it, basically they show it to everybody for the first time.
It's a surprise. It's very fun. Lots of times when they are building new buildings or, unveiling a statue, maybe an artist has been paid to come up with a sculpture. They'll cover it with a cloth and then boom, they'll take it off and everyone's like, oh, it's so beautiful. So that's what they're doing there with the motorcycles. Now, moving on to the final paragraph. It says, despite all the pressure they're facing in their respective shops, the Pauls find time to work on the New York Yankees bike. They must be working very long hours, I'm just going to say. Look at this word respective, guys. We don't use it in spoken English very often because people don't really pay enough attention to what you're saying. Respective is usually just in written English, and it refers to things that happened earlier in that sentence. So, despite all the pressures they're facing in their respective shops, we've got two guys. They have separate shops, and so we're saying that this is happening in both of those shops. So, you could say... it's kind of hard to come up with a sentence off the top of your head with respective.
Oh, I can think of something.
Good,
After the party, the people went back to their respective homes.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see it as an adverb. For example, Tom and John are friends. Tom weighs 100 pounds and John weighs 200 pounds, respectively. So the first number has to match up with the first name, and the second name has to match up with the second number. But this is a little easier. It just means separately their shops. So, yeah, they're back to work on the New York Yankees bike. That's what I'd do first.
Right, so they're each under pressure in their individual shops, in their respective shops, but they still have to work together to work on the New York Yankees bike. Now, they managed to get the bike's handlebars on without fighting, but with the gas tank yet to arrive, they come to a standstill. So the handlebars, of course, is what you hold with your hands there. You've got handlebars on motorcycles and on bicycles. But they don't have the gas tank, so they can't do anything. They've come to a standstill. They've come to a screeching halt, and they cannot move forward. And that's probably in their best interests. It's probably the best thing for them, though, as they both have pressing deadlines to meet. So if they don't have to work on the Yankees bike, then they can go back to their respective shops and work on their respective projects.
There you go. So that is probably in their best interests. It's the best thing for that situation because they both have really tight deadlines to meet. So are they going to make it? We don't know. In order to find out, you've got to tune in to Discovery Channel's show, American Chopper 2018 Season 2, this June. So check your TV listings in your area. See when it's on. I no longer have a TV, so I couldn't tell you.
I bet a lot of people don't have TVs anymore. They watch all their TV shows on their devices.
Yeah, a computer is fine.
But, you may be able to find this program on your device somehow. But if you can't, hey, you might have to tune into an old-fashioned TV. You still remember what those are, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of our explanation. It's time now to turn things over to our Chinese teacher.
接着，在第二段的一刚开始，儿子在做什么呢？Meanwhile, Paul Jr.'s team is hard at work with the extreme trike. 那么小保罗的团队正努力地打造超级三轮车。这里的 trike 其实就是 tricycle 的意思。 在后面的句子有提到 The trike is nearly complete and looks incredible, but the team still has one massive problem. The back tires haven't arrived, and the bike is meant to be unveiled in a couple of days. 在这里提到呢，三轮机车已经快要完成了，而且看起来 incredible， 简直是太棒了。但是团队还是面临一个大问题，就是后轮还没有到达，而且三轮机车预计在几天之内就要亮相了。我们来看一下 unveil 这个动词，它指的是有揭露或者是使公诸于众的意思。举例来说 The plan was unveiled with the approval from the minister. 指的呢，就是经过部长的同意，这个计划就会被公诸于世了。而后面我们再继续看到最后一段的第一句提到Despite all the pressure they are facing in their respective shops, the Pauls find time to work on the New York Yankees bike. 那么虽然各自经营着各自的竞争企业，也有各自要面临的压力，但是呢，这对父子仍然抽空处理了这个纽约洋基机车。我们来看一下这个形容词 respective， 有分别的、各自的意思。He drove them both to their respective homes. 指的呢，就是他开车把他们分别都送到各自的家里面了。后面的句子又提到 They managed to get the bike's handlebars on without fighting, but with the gas tank yet to arrive, they come to a standstill.在这里的 manage to 解释成为成功的完成，或者很努力的设法完成了某件事情。举例来说 We managed to arrive on time. 我们终于准时到达了。In spite of those insults, he managed to keep his temper. 尽管受到了那些侮辱，他仍然设法控制自己的脾气而不发怒。而在这里呢 They managed to get the bike's handlebars on. 他们呢有努力的呢在没有争吵的情况下装上了机车的把手。那么呢但是还是有问题，在这里说到 with 是代表一种附带的情形跟状况，这个邮箱呢还没有送到。Yet 是尚未还没有的意思，所以整个进度呢就 come to a standstill， 整个任务就停了下来。所以想要知道结果的时候，那么就一定要收看这个节目。文章的最后一句 Find out by tuning into Discovery Channel's American Chopper 2018 Season 2 this June。想知道结果，就要收看今年6月 Discovery 频道的超炫美式机车再出发第2季，你就可以了解详情了。OK， 以上就是今天的课文讲解，谢谢收听。
That's it for a Discovery Unit. We hope you all get a chance to tune in to see On the Road Again with American Chopper 2018 and see if they actually were able to finish their projects despite their really tight deadlines. For English Digest, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom. Goodbye.
Bye.